Over the past 2 weeks, employees nationwide have been feeling the brunt of startling changes in corporate America. And the CEO of Starbucks, Brian Nichols, actually has some opinions on the matter, which we will be touching in this video. So, as we all are aware, 2025 is the year of layoffs, and the pressure is on in corporate America as employers continue to shrink their workforce at a startling rate. Now, according to data from WarrenTracker.com, over 49,000 employees across the country have been laid off this year so far. And these companies include Meta, Amazon, Google, Wayfair. So a lot of tech companies are downsizing, not necessarily because of bad profits, more so because they're scared about the future, they're uncertain, and they just overall want to increase their profits. They want to cut down on unnecessary spending, and they basically are treating employees as a number, which is partly true. Employment is always at will. The company can lay you off at any moment, and the employee can quit their job at any moment. And we really had to feel for both sides of the argument. The employees are people and workers who have been working and training their whole lives to achieve employment at companies such as Meta, Amazon, and Google, huge tech companies with huge compensation packages. And finally, landing that job feels amazing. But getting laid off because the company wants to cut expenses is absolutely horrible because a lot of these employees count on the salary from these employers to provide food for their families. And in this job market, it's very tough to find another position that pays equally well. On the other hand, a company needs to be profitable in order for employees to maintain their employment. So we do see that argument there, but companies such as Meta, Amazon, and Google, who have insane profit margins, should not be doing this right now, especially with the federal government. Donald Trump and Elon Musk, who runs the Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, have been shrinking the federal government in an effort to enhance accountability, reduce waste, and promote innovation. And this has costed over 36,000 government employees being laid off by DOGE. And just like the Amazon and Facebook, Google workers, these are people trying to provide for their families. And whether you agree with the federal government or not, these are humans as well. So let's see what Starbucks' CEO, Brian Nichols, has to say about all these layoffs. Well, he says that he has high expectations for employees after his own company laid off 1,100 corporate employees worldwide last month when he took office and paused hiring for hundreds of open positions. Now, there's been a lot of controversy with Starbucks, especially as he is commuting from his California home to his Seattle office in a private jet 3 times a week. Now, that's pretty crazy, especially from someone who has been advocating for green energy for quite some time now. So it's no wonder why people hate CEOs and upper management these days, especially what happened with United Healthcare's CEO. So according to a recent report from the Wall Street Journal, Nichols told employees during an internal forum at Starbucks' headquarters that they needed to adjust their decision-making process, basically needing to step up their performance. He's basically saying, we're not effective on how things get to the store, and we're not effective in making decisions and then holding each other accountable to those decisions, said Nichols. This is why we had to make the changes that we had to make. And this is coming after he has laid off over 1,000 employees. So there's a ton of controversy with this CEO. And as Starbucks is facing declining sales, he has emphasized that stores need to show improvement to prevent future job cuts. So he's threatening the employees who are having low performance with layoffs. Overall, he wants more efficiency. He wants things faster, he wants things done right, and he wants less mistakes. So there is a ton of controversy with Starbucks' CEO right now. And people have even taken it to Reddit, where people are saying that if I hired a new boss for millions of dollars and his big idea was everyone should work harder, I would be so pissed. And unfortunately, this is true. But not every company is operating like Starbucks. Bank of America is also cracking down on overworking. So while Starbucks is pushing employees to step up their game, Bank of America is taking an extra step to make sure its employees aren't overworking themselves, which is very solid. It's great to see that not all companies are evil and some companies actually care about their employees. So, what they're actually doing is, according to a recent report from the journal, Bank of America now requires its senior bankers to ensure that junior bankers aren't working hours exceeding the company's limits. Now, it's very common for junior employees to overwork themselves and contribute more hours than they're actually required to in order to try to prove themselves. So, Bank of America is requiring its senior employees to ensure that this does not happen. Junior employees are juniors. They're expected to work a little slower and need lots of training. I've been at many companies where all the interns and junior employees overwork themselves and really try to go above and beyond because they feel like they don't have any experience. And what they're also doing is they're exploring different options to lighten workloads of the junior bankers. And of course, one option is using artificial intelligence to assist in completing tasks. So, this is really how artificial intelligence should be used. It shouldn't be used to replace employees, it should be used in addition to existing employees and assist them to help speed up their work. And it's also a great tool for people to use to train themselves. And the company is making this step in the direction because it comes after it suffered massive backlash when an employee was 35 years old and died of a blood clot in his heart because he was working 100-hour work weeks at the company, which is pretty insane. 100 hours a week is basically the equivalent of 2.5 jobs. And after his death, they actually found out that multiple employees were pulling all-nighters to work on projects in order to get some of their work done, in order to avoid facing scrutiny from human resources. So with all of the layoffs, Meta actually has a sneaky way of blocking employees from being rehired. So if you've been laid off from Meta, sometimes you can't actually get rehired because you might be on a secret block list. A lot of companies realize that after you're being laid off, there's a lot of emotional attention and a lot of hatred comes between the employee and the employer, even if it's on good terms. So a lot of companies have a block list. So if you get laid off, they don't want you back because they know it might be bittersweet. And Business Insider actually revealed that Meta keeps block lists despite having a good history of performance, which is kind of crazy. And it really makes us understand that sometimes the companies want more power rather than good performance. But of course, Mark Zuckerberg is the CEO of Meta, and there's a ton of controversy, and we'll go over that in another video.